Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Cape Rugby TV. Of course, it is Wednesday night and we bring you the very best of rugby in and around Cape Town. On the show with me this evening, Morgan Newman, recently returned from the Community Cup. Welcome back, Morgs.
Yeah, good to be back. Thanks for having me, James.
You have a nice trip?
Yeah, it was very good. Yeah, didn't get the big W, the big win, but yeah, third place is we're still happy and yeah, looking forward to the league.
Yeah, we'll touch on the Community Cup in a minute or so. And of course, Jerome Parvater, head of talent identification at Western Province. Hello, Jerome.
Hallo JP.
Gaan we jou?
Baie goed, dankie.
Ons moet dit nou 'n bietjie uit jou uittrek. Jy was so lank hier so.
Ja, dit is ja. Dit was lekker om weer terug te wees. Lekker om weer hier te wees en 'n bietjie rugby te gesels, so is lekker.
Yeah, long overdue. And of course, finally we have him on the show back from well, I wouldn't say back because now everybody knows about the win of UCT at the Varsity Cup. Kevin Musikanth, the head coach at UCT. Hello, Kev.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, and you?
Good, very well, thanks.
Are we going to work on monosyllables today?
We can if you want.
You guys, the coaches, though, you guys don't really... You don't really ever get coaches who are men of few words, do you? I don't know, Jerome. Elke coach wat ek het ooit gesien het nogal 'n redelike groot bek.
Ja, jy moet so wees JP, want jy moet baie praat.
Maar ons het al voorheen gepraat oor coaches wat net vloek en skree in die halftime, dit help nie.
Ja, dit help JP. So, jy moet maar die regte inligting deurgee en goed, maar ek dink deesdae die manne is maar baie versigtig want ek weet as jy op die TV is en jy praat, maar hulle is nou die hele tyd op die TV, so jy mag nie meer eintlik vloek nie.
Ja nee. Ja nee, dis nogal verbasend as ons by die club games opdag hoe welgesprekend die mense is. Dis sommer op die veld, dis 'n u en 'n wil 'n u hierso die bal hê en sal ek vir dalk u die bal gee, wil u moontlik na die wedstryd vir 'n drankie kom want ons is welkom. En dan na die tyd is dit 'n hele ander language. All right folks, coming up on the show then tonight we're going to take a look at the Super 15 a little bit later in the show. We caught up with the Stormers after the match, after they beat the Lions. And if you want to know how to do Super Brew predictions, then just go and look at my score, because when I say it's the Stormers by 15, it's the Stormers by 15. And then we'll also take a look at the Community Cup. It didn't go the way that Western Province would have liked. We would have loved to see Hammies walk away with the gold medal there. They came away with the bronze, but we'll speak to Morgan Newman, who was actually there firsthand and playing in the Community Cup for Hamiltons a little bit later during the show. And we're going to give you some interesting statistics on rugby in Western Province at the moment. From now on, we're going to start looking at teams that are the top try scorers. We'll look at the teams that have scored the most points in club rugby. And we're also going to look at some of the teams that are really struggling, the teams that have got the most points against them. So statistics are going to be very interesting. That's going to come up in the show a little bit later. And then, of course, Evox Advanced Nutrition, the official sports nutrition supply to Western Province Rugby and the DHL Stormers. I've got the before, during, and after hamper up for grabs. So get your cell phones handy. And remember that number that you're going to need to text is, of course, 33280. You're going to tell us who is the official sports nutrition supply to Western Province Rugby and the DHL Stormers. Let's take a look at some of the midweek results from last week. There were only 2 week games then on Wednesday. NNK going down to Marty 64 points to 5, and Vix beating UWC 34 points to 6. All right, so there were some big results there. Vix going up against UWC. Jerome, I suppose we would have thought there that, I mean, Vix, we know that Vix is like a Marty's second team almost. I still don't really understand the difference between Marty's and Vix, but anyway, we have a Stellenbosch outfit there. And what would you say? What's going wrong for UWC at the moment?
JP, I think a lot of things started in the varsity shield for them, which were actually supposed to be a good preparation for them, and I thought that they're gonna be much further, at least played in the finals like the previous year. So I think they had a bad start, and once you have a bad start like that, it's difficult to motivate the guys and to get them up for the club competition, because the varsity shield is a big thing. So I think, but they still have time, but I think they need to fix something at least now. They need to up their game and they need to play, because they've got a reputation, and I think people expect much more of them.
Yeah, Kev, your opinion? You've played UWC. I mean, the last time I think I saw you at UWC was when Falsebay was playing against UWs in the mist. Yes, when we couldn't fly off, couldn't hardly see the centre on the day. You at UWC, and we're going to take a look on the statistics a little bit later, and you'll see where people are sitting now in terms of rank points. But your opinion on things at UWC at the moment? I mean, you being involved with the Varsity Cup, have they perhaps lost any players do players come and go during this time for varsity?
I think Jerome hits it spot on. It's two different competitions. and your preparation is twofold, because you've got your group of guys that lead the Varsity Cup for you, or the Varsity Shield, which is UW's in the same boat. And then you go into league, and if you don't sort of keep those guys happy that are going to form a component of your league team, then you sit in a situation where you could be struggling. So it's only one game down though, so give them a chance. They might bounce back. But at the same time, yes, I think Jerome's right. More was expected.
The other big match over the weekend was Marty, 64 points to 5 over NNK. Now, Morgs, you played for Marty's for a number of years. 64-5, do you think that the jump for NNK coming back into Super League A, of course they don't really know that they come up, or because we just got now more teams. But anyway, NNK and Marty is now in the same bracket. 64-5, not a good result for them.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit of a rude awakening for a lot of those teams that have come up now. You know, unfortunately, a team like NNK who've just come up, play against a team who won the league the previous year. So it's a little bit of a big jump for them. But yeah, I mean, you know, a lot of these teams, you know, once they hit their straps, once they get 3 or 4 games down the line, then things, you know, their performances may improve, and then they may not get such big results. But yeah, obviously a tough one for NNK, the first one up against Marty's. So, you know, any team I think coming up now playing UCT or Marty's or Durban or Hamilton's, I think they might struggle a little bit, but I think 3 or 4 games down the line, you'll see some interesting results.
All right, well, let's take a look at the logs then, B, and then after the logs, we're going to start taking a look at some of the statistics, the stats of club rugby points and so forth. In Super League A, Victorians are on top there on 10 points, Helderberg on 10 points in second place, followed by Marty's in third place. Then it's Durban, SK Warmers and Belha who make up the middle of the table. UCT, Belleville, Primrose, False Bay, Tigerberg, NNK, UWC are on 13 in 13th place. And then right at the bottom, Hamilton's and Kales River. Of course, Hamilton's have yet to start playing in the league. And Super League B, Villages are up against... well, we're not going to talk about who they're up against yet, but they're off to a flying start. Villages, Solarians, Hands and Hearts, those are your top 3. And then 13, 14 and 15 at the bottom, Macassar, Hamlets and Scottsdene. While in Super League A, Franschhoek United continue to do well. Wraithby Universals and Elsies are in first, second and third. And then, of course, at the bottom, Silverleaf, Eerste Rivier and Van der Stel. While in the City League, it's Hamadeus, Young Stars, Temperance and Cities in first, second and third. Hamadeus doing really well. They're still on 10 points on the log. Young Ideas, Watsonia, Perseverance are at the bottom of the log. Perseverance themselves going to have to do quite a bit of work. And the Northern League, we see Whistling Wheels, Kruisville and Khayelitsha, while All Saints, Strand, Pioneers and Delft bring up the bottom part. Southern League is Masi Pumalele, who's doing pretty well themselves. Already got a points difference of 61. Young Brothers and Bishop Labors, while at the bottom, Titans, Retreat, Richmond Rangers. In the PAL League, we see Lower PAL, Simondium, Allendale. Of course, look at the points difference there. Lower PAL, 206 points, and they've scored 33 tries already in 2 games. And at the bottom, it's Peril United, who you can see they've got 130 points against them after just 1 game. All right, so those are some of the log points that we looked at there. And unfortunately, folks, with a new structure, it's impossible for us to talk about everybody in their log. So we take a look at the first top 3, and we'll take a look at the bottom 3 to give you an idea who's doing what on the top of the league and who's unfortunately struggling a little bit at the bottom. But now let's take a look at some of the top try scorers there, and I think this is where we start looking at some interesting statistics. In the PAL region, it's Lower PAL. They've scored 219 points so far, with 33 tries in the bag after just 2 games. So that puts them on an average of 16 tries per game. Villages doing particularly well in Super League B. They've already scored 115 points and scored 17 tries in 2 games. That's an average of 8 tries per game. Okay, so gentlemen, if we start taking a look at some of the statistics here, John, let's talk to you. I mean, I don't know how much difference this makes, but when you start seeing numbers like this, you really start thinking, hang on, you know, how do you strategize for the way going forward? I mean, if we just look at Lower PAL, they played against Peril United. They beat them, I think, 130-0 or something. So that's 33 tries for them in 2 games. It puts them on 16 tries per game. I mean, can you even read anything into a game like this?
No, I don't think so, JP. And the thing for that guys, unfortunately, if they come up against stronger opposition, I think they're in the wrong league. Then it might be different. But also the other teams that they play against, there's no defense. I mean, everybody's talking about defense. So I don't know what the other coaches are doing. Surely they could see on Super Rugby and everywhere. Just work on a defensive pattern, because clearly there's nothing going on. They didn't even have to worry about attack. Surely I think that the guys can attack, but just work on the defense. A bit of advice for them is just work on your defense, or get somebody in to come and help you, or there's lots of people that's available to help them, but clearly that is not supposed to happen in rugby anymore.
130 points.
No, that's bad.
I don't know what sort of defense you're going to put in there on 130 points, Kev.
No, that's a big, big score.
Look, I know Peril United are a small club. You know, they've always just ticked along, but at 130 points, I'd really be a little bit, I'd be really concerned. But at the same time, lower par, you can't really measure too much into that. I mean, the 33 points, 33 tries in 2 games, 16 tries per game for lower par. Do we read anything into that?
Well, they can obviously score tries. You can read that into it, but at the same time, I feel for the side that needs to work on their defense. I think at the same time as them conceding so many points, they do have something to work towards, and they realize even in that game, they probably had the ball for 50% of the match. They just need to learn what to do with the ball and then learn what to do without the ball.
Yeah, well, so you got to feel, but I mean, Jerome, are we not seeing a little bit of the sort of the true colours coming out here now? We're starting to see the difference in the leagues of who's really doing well and the strong against the weak now with this new structure. Okay, that is the PAL region, so they haven't had any changes, but we're going to take a further look at some of the other teams, and we're starting to see some really big points against some weaker teams putting on really bad points. Is this going to work?
That is, I think it's the start of a new competition in Western Province with teams. So you will get certain teams that will take a hammering. If they don't change or do something, it's going to get worse because they're going to get injured the longer the season goes on. So they need to, and the biggest problem of these teams is the depth in this competition which they play, because it's difficult to play with a 13 player coming up, play against Martis or whoever in this league, Super A and Super B. It's very difficult and it's going to be tough. So I think it's something new, and you will get that scores, but I think Western Province, we didn't expect that bad for some teams. So something needs to be done. There's lots of things going on. There's lots of things coming up for their coaches to attend this stuff and to attend the defensive sessions and things like that to improve their rugby.
So okay, so I was that was exactly where I was heading now, is that if we start looking at the statistics in this way, it starts to help us identify a few things. But we're still looking at the top try scorers here. Stellenbosch also 13 tries. They've scored 81 points already in 2 games. So that's an average of 6 tries per game. So Stellenbosch, Village is also, as I said, doing really well already. Yeah. Stellenbosch already starting to show their colours. I know that they played against UWC. Maybe those 2 teams are a little bit outmatched, but we can understand why they're putting on points. And Kevin, it sends out a strong message.
Oh, big time. But I think in terms of Vix playing UWC, that's kind of the measure, and UWC should be performing better in a game like that. Yeah. In terms of that result. So maybe it was just a bad day at the office for UWs, and then maybe just look at what happens in the second game in terms of that one. And then obviously Paro, Marties, that's a tough ask for Paro, first up.
So yeah, so the and then of course, so Stellenbosch and Vix, both teams doing really well. They're Bishop Lavis in the Southern League also doing quite well there. They've scored 72 points already, an average of, well, they've scored 12 tries in the season, so well done to Bishop Lavis. And then Silurians have done well, and Milnerton and Durban. These are your top 10 try scoring teams, folks. And then Masipumelele also with 11 points. And I know that Masipumelele came up against Thistle. They lost again. They beat Thistle 49 points to 0. Jerome, I understand that things weren't going too well there for Thistle, and eventually they decided to throw in the towel. I mean, are we running the risk of, if you're taking 40, 50, 60, 70 points in a game, that teams are going to walk off the field?
That's the thing that might happen. That's the sad thing, because as I said earlier on, you end up with, if you don't have the depth, if you don't have extra players, you're going to end up with teams later in the season not pitching for games, and serious problems are going to come in. And if a team is taking a hammering 3 weeks in a row, I can just see that something's going to happen. But hopefully, as I said, hopefully there's lots of advice they can get, and they must just talk.
So when you look at a game like this, I mean, you as head of talent identification, when you look at top try scorers and you start scouting for players, you're obviously going to look across the leagues and see who scored the most tries. And maybe one of those players can be looked at for the dices or the emerging side or whatever, but you can't really go down to the stats here and look to see who scored the most tries in a 33 try spree of 2 games and go, well, you're the right guy for the emerging province side.
That's the province, the problem, JP, that I sit with, because a lot of people will phone you and say, look, why isn't this guy playing in this thing? Why isn't he playing for the Vodacom Cup? Why isn't he
Because
not
he scored
involved?
33 tries already.
Because he's the top try scorer and he's that. But if you look at, to be quite honest, who you play against with and who's your opposition, who you come up with, then that's the measure you take.
Yeah.
Because once that guys come to a higher level and they play against, then you can see.
But that puts you in a spot. I mean, if I give you these statistics in 3 months' time, and I say to you, look here, this team has scored 150 tries already this season, and they say, well, the player, one of those players, he scored 35 of those tries in whatever, 10 games. Then you go, obviously be in a difficult situation, because you'll have to go, but hang on, who did he play against?
Exactly.
What was he? How tough was his opposition? That's kind of tough for talent ID.
Yeah, exactly. But still, JP, you have to look at this guy, because maybe he's quick enough. He might have something. So
maybe
we
he
have
scored
to,
all the tries on his own.
Maybe that. But we have to look at this guy and invite him once the Dizers trials are on, once the emerging team are on, and the sevens guys are training and things like that.
Yeah.
Especially a guy like that, if he score all their tries, maybe he's a good prospect to play sevens.
I suppose the one positive thing is that our clubs are playing running rugby and they're scoring tries. So that's not a bad thing, Morse.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's whether you're scoring running, if I don't know about running rugby, if you were scoring 33 tries in a game, then I think it's just a free-for-all, to be honest. So, yeah, look, it's difficult, but I think, you know, like it's the first year, we'll have the teething problems, but I think as the years go by, we'll slowly start to see the top 15 teams will be really strong and competing with one another. And I think we'll also see a lot of players disperse across the 15 teams, you know, because now guys that want to play Superliga in the past only had 10 teams to choose from. Now that if you're good enough, you feel you're good enough to play Superliga, you've pretty much got 15 teams to go and try your hand at. So
yeah.
I think we'll see it even out in the end.
All right, let's take a look now at the points against, and there's some more interesting statistics in terms of the teams there. Peril United, as we said, they really took a hammering. They fought only one game. They took a hammering against Lower Paarl, so you can see it on the screen there, 130 points to 0, so it was a tough one for them. And then the surprise factor there, of course, UWC, who already have, after 3 games, 120 points against them. So a little bit of a tough road for UWC at the moment. 103 points against them. Only 31 points on the board, and then at least 37. And then NNK with 103 points against them with only 31 points on the board, and they have only played 2 games. Windmill United also there on 89 points against them after just 1 game. I think there was also a match that they played against Lower Paarl. So those are where your points are coming from there. Lower Paarl, who took points against Peril United and Windmill United. And then in Super League B, 81 points for against Young Peoples, also having just played 2 games. Kales River already with 76 points against them. Richmond Rangers, Thistle, and Silurians. Surprise factor there. Silurians have already got 65 points against them after just 2 games. But there again, they have already scored 80 points also. So, gentlemen, I mean, if you look at it now, Jerome, and it's starting to take shape when you look at the other side of the coin. You're not just looking at the positives and the points for, the tries scored, but we see here clearly which are the teams that have got points against them.
Yeah.
So in a case like this, is it possible for Western Province to use these statistics and then start identifying teams and say, listen guys, you guys are in trouble, your defense is no good, or you're not scoring tries, we need to send somebody out from Western Province, come down there and see what's going on? Because clearly that's why, I mean, why one has rugby directors and intervention and so on.
Yeah, that's exactly, JP. Also, as I said previously, what we need to do clearly, if you look at that, we need to get the coaches in, and we need to, again, like last year we've done it, get Jacques Nienaber in, go through the defensive systems, get the coaches in, go through the things like that to see at least that they improve on certain aspects. And if you look at teams like Silurians, I know what type of players they've got, and I know what they all put in the club. For them to have that points against them, they've got a lot of experienced players there. then something clearly is wrong with how they defend or what they do things. And if you look at UWC, I mean, it's really not they're not supposed to be up there with that points against them in that at this stage where it's going to end up. So clearly we need to do something, and that the guys need to come in and they need to talk, because the guys are available, as I said.
So, I mean, Kev, in your opinion, do you think that this is, if you look at these points against, is this a scenario of weak defense, or are they perhaps not attacking enough to use that as a method of defense?
No, I think it is a scenario of weak defense. I think the one area you definitely can work at, no matter what your side can do on attack, is defense.
Yeah.
It's basically a buy-in principle, and if everyone buys in, you shouldn't be getting, you might still lose the game, but you shouldn't be getting 100 points. Literally, the teams you're playing against have to score every time you kick off to them.
Yeah, it works.
No, yeah, I mean, the defense is something that, you know, even though you only have 3 or 3 days with the guys, you know, if there's a certain structure, defense is extremely structured, whereas attack is, you know, the guy can give the ball to the guy and he can just go and you know, have his way with the opposition. But defense is something where if you believe in the systems and that the coach is putting before you, then you shouldn't be receiving, like Kev says, 30 odd tries against you in a game.
But isn't that a mentality problem? Isn't that one of the problems that some teams have, is that mindset is we need to attack more. We tend to get the ball and then we don't know what to do with it. Or we get the ball and we don't know how to keep it. Or we get the ball and we don't know how to run it down the line. Because, you know, in my opinion, if you want to score tries, or if you want to stop the other team from tries, yes, I understand you must have a great defense. But great defense is not going to get you across the try line. And it means you're going to have a big points difference against you. Surely, I mean, I come from another world, so for me, one of the best forms of defense is a good attack. I mean, Jerome, when do you change and say, guys, we need to attack more? Because the games that I've watched so far, the players that have got the ball on attack, they can't keep the ball. They either lose the ball, they fumble the ball, they knock it on, or they kick it away.
But there's a lot of things, JP, with defense is firstly, I think, it's your conditioning. If you start off your season poorly with conditioning, obviously you won't be able to make that one-on-one tackles. So that's one thing. And then another thing is, you must have a look at on the field where you are. Why do you give away this points? Because you've got your exit zones and things like that. And everybody wants to attack and everybody wants to see attractive rugby. But the team that's got a weak defense surely can't run from anywhere in wherever they are, because there's going to be a knock on, there's going to be a line out or something. They're going to lose the ball. They're in their 22, 5 meters from the line. The opposition is going to score. So they need to look at, like you say, they need to look at the attack, but they need to look at where they are on the field.
Okay, so talking about the attack and the lines and where they are on the field, what are the chances of you bringing us a couple of videos and then drawing the lines and the circles and the arrows on it for us to show how the players run?
That's very easy.
Okay.
That's very easy to get that. That's very easy, and that's because we've got all sorts of playbook, all sorts of menus, and all sorts of things you can do.
Right, folks, there you go then. So keep watching the show as we start bringing you some video stats, or from a coach's point of view, to give you a sort of a helping hand, so to speak, because right now the points that we're seeing against the teams is showing a weak defense across the board, across all teams, so not just specific teams. We'll take an ad break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at the Community Cup fixtures, what happened there. Of course, we know things didn't go too well for Hammies, which we were hoping was going to come away with a gold medal there. And then we'll also take a look at some of the fixtures coming up. Don't forget, we'll touch base on the Easter weekend rugby festival that happened over at Lunga over the weekend. Busy Bees and Western Zebras hosting a tournament for 22 teams at least, and teams from all over the country, Eastern Cape, Johannesburg, KZN, all coming down to come and play at what was a monster tournament at Lunga for 4 days. The field was absolutely jam-packed. I was absolutely blown away by it, but we'll touch base on that a little bit later. We'll take a break and we'll see you in a sec. Welcome back, everybody. Yes, Cape Rugby TV. Remember, you can find us on Facebook, www.facebook.com Facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV. Remember, send us those photographs, those fan pics, and during the weekend, please update your scores. All right, while you're watching the game, just Twitter it and let us know what's happening at your game. We want to tweet it on. Remember, once you see somebody score, if you retweet it, you're going to get a lot of people to follow you also. So get the score at your game, even if you just want to tell us whether you like somebody's boots or their hairstyle or the new jersey, whatever it is that you want to do. Just tweet it out there. We'll retweet it and we keep that whole back channel flowing. Okay, let's quickly take a look at some of the fixtures coming then up this coming weekend. NNK are up against UCT. That is our home ground advantage scenario for NNK. They're against UCT. And that's at the Jan Burger Sports Complex. So we'll be getting out there to NNK to go and watch NNK up against UCT. Primrose are up against Vix. Kuilsriver take on False Bay, Bellville and Belhar. There's a derby match of note. And Marty's take on SK Warmers. Right, gentlemen, those are our Super League A fixtures there. Kev, let's start with you. That's the game that Cape Rugby has chosen as the match of the weekend, which we want to go and check out. We haven't seen NNK in a long time. The last time we were there, we were watching NNK play against Hands and Hearts. It was a live game. It was TV coverage, one of the biggest viewerships that live rugby can see. NNK, UCT, we've got kind of a picture from them now, having played on Wednesday where they played against Vix, or they played against Marty's anyway. They didn't go well for them. You guys ready for this game?
We're ready for it. We obviously take it very seriously, but I think when you catch an angry Marty side, I think Marty's given 60 points to maybe Hammies before. So reading into NNK being weak, I think that's a push. They'll be up for it, and it'll be a tough match, I think.
Yeah, they are a strong outfit. I mean, they've got some big guys out there on their side. But there again, as you said, Marty's have the luxury of coming straight out of the Varsity Cup now. And they've already played one or two club games. So maybe NNK still warming into the season.
Possibly, but also at the same time, one forgets NNK is a proud club. They've won the Grand Challenge before, and their structures are in place. So hopefully from their side, they'll pick it up. From our side, we've also come off a Varsity Cup and are very prepared for it, and our guys are fit.
Okay, so let me ask you the question then. We were talking earlier on about defence. Let me ask Jerome then. I'll put it in a neutral space. Jerome, NNK have already got 103 points against them. They'll be looking to improve their defence this week up against UCT.
Yeah, definitely. I think one area which they can improve in is the Marty score in the first 35 minutes. I've been at that game last Wednesday evening.
Oh, did you watch the game?
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah, you have first-hand information.
Yeah,
you could have told us that in the beginning of the show.
35 minutes into the 35 minutes into the game, 35 points up, and a lot of the tries were from maul. From the line out, 22 meters. Marty's just keep on mauling them.
Really? So not running rugby?
So the first half was a lot of that, and then obviously the defense gets weaker, then Marty's just open it up and score a few tries with the backs, but most of the tries were up front.
Ja, mense, dis rysvleis en aardappels daar uit Stellenbosch se kant uit en ons maak die mense groot daarso. En dan kom hulle hierso na die suidelike voorstede en rysvleis en aardappels oor die witlyn. Daar gaan dit nog 'n try vir Maties. In Super League B, we've got Hamlets up against Solarians this weekend. Goodwood take on St. George's. Macassar up against Milnerton at Macassar. Collegians are up against Brackenfell. Rangers take on Peniel Villages. All right, so for me, the match there I'm supposed to look out for is going to be Milnerton and Macassar. Milnerton, Ishmael Dolly Morgs, they'll be taking on the guys at Macassar. That's a home ground advantage for Macassar. And we know what the fans are like at Macassar. They come out en masse.
No, they'll be there in their droves, but I'm sure Ish is, I speak to Ish on a regular basis, and he does the homework for all these teams that he plays against, so Milton will be prepared, but yeah, if Macassar fans come out, then there's no reason why they can't lift the boys and get one over Ish's side.
Yeah. Hang on, let's just go back one step here. Jerome, the other big one is, of course, Belhar against Bellville in Super League A. Derby match. It's going to be thousands of people there. It's going to be a big one.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good one, and lots of people there. And Bellville surprised NNK the first game.
Yeah.
Took 5 points out of that game because they lost a lot of players. So, and Belhar got a few players in. So it would be quite interesting, but I know there's going to be lots of people, and that's going to be running rugby, JP.
That's going to be running rugby. And those are two teams that are hungry for the league.
No, definitely.
Belhar, we know, is chomping at the bit. They They played against Kales River. The ball was fumbling a little bit. Both teams weren't too happy with the performance there. But still, Belhar are doing well.
Yeah, and as I said, I mean, they've got a couple of new players in Belhar. Bellville has lost a lot of players, but they've done well. Especially talking about defense, they were pretty good against NNK on defense.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think we're gonna see some good rugby there.
Okay, let's take a look at Super League C. It's Stelkor up against Silvertree Strand. Take on Strand United at Gastro. Van der Stel and Violets, Wraithby take on Elsies Rivier, and Manenberg are up against Lunga. They're playing in Surrey Estate. And in the City League, it's Young Ideas against Caledonians. Watsonia take on Young Stars, Busy Bees and Perseverance. And Police are up against Ahmadiyas. While in the Northern League, it's Atlantis and Whistling Wheels, Delft and Blue Jets. Strand Pioneers take on Blue Jets. And, well, they're playing 2 games on the same day. Anyway, Kyle Moore are up against Kailicha, and All Saints take on Cloutiesville. While in the Southern League, it's Titans on the kickoff at 4 o'clock for them against Richmond Rangers. Masipumalele take on Bishop Labors, playing at Masipumalele. So home ground advantage for Masi. Retreat take on Lagunya. Rocklands take on Young Brothers, and Young Wesley's take on a Thistle. Right, folks, those are your fixtures over the weekend. So that's where we'll be travelling to this weekend as we watch UCT take on NNK. NNK with home ground advantage. And, well, I think that's going to be a game of note. And it sounds also like Bellville going to be a monster. We'll take an ad break. And when we come back, we'll take a look at what happened over the weekend. We're at Lunga. Back in a sec. Here we go, folks. It is Cape Rugby TV. It is Wednesday night, and of course you can catch the repeat on Wednesday, at least on Saturday at 9 o'clock. Don't forget to check out Sports Federation TV every Friday night on Cape Town TV from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, as well as a repeat at 8 o'clock on a Saturday. Sports Federation TV presented by Elton Davids, and this, of course, for the Western Province Sports Councils. In other words, all sports federations now have an opportunity to be on TV. So, yeah, check that out. It's a great way to cover more sport right here on Cape Town TV. Okay, so we went out to Lunga over the weekend. It was the Easter Rugby Festival. They rotate this tournament, and a fantastic tournament it was. Teams from all over the country arrived, and we managed to see real community rugby. And from the kids to the ladies to the seniors, all doing really well, and eventually the tournament being won by Boiling Water, who played in the final against the Walter Sisulu University. Let's see what happened.
What I saw today, I saw a good rugby. From the both teams who played the final, I saw a quality rugby.
Good win actually. Yeah, they were dominating up front actually, so we decided to spread the ball wide. Actually, playing a quick ball because they keep on attacking our rucks, so we end up swinging the ball wide. Yeah, in terms of accommodation and catering, it was not nice. But I told my guys, let's not put that thing in our head. Actually, let's focus on the games. And we came for to win the tournament, and then we can go back and celebrate. Actually, I have to thank the fans actually because they come in numbers. Some come from the Eastern Cape all the way to come and support us. So I appreciate for what they did for us. Yeah.
There's forward line player number 6 from Muso. And number 6, Boiling Water. Number 10, Boiling Water.
an incredible tournament. Alfred Kiwana and the guys doing really well there. So well done, guys. That's how you put on a tournament and you bring out players from all over the country. And we've heard about SA Rugby putting, or at least prioritizing development in the Eastern Cape. I think it's one of the reasons why the Kings were going to play in the Super 15 and all those playouts, and then the Eastern Province playing in the Currie Cup and so on. But Jerome, if we look at all those players there and all the fans there that travelled from all over the country to come and watch this, lekker for club rugby. It still shows us that we've got amateur rugby is really on fire in South Africa.
Yeah, definitely, JP, and that's a long history with in the townships where over Easter they have this tournament, and it seems like it's growing. I mean, lots of people there, and it looked like the rugby is also picking up, and it's great, and I think it's also great exposure for Western Province rugby. That the guys, the tournament is here, and as you said, for the guys in the Eastern Cape, the guys are hungry for rugby and coming here to Cape Town to play in this tournament. It's big, lots of people, and it's great exposure for Western Province rugby also.
We managed to catch up with the coach of Boiling Water, and he embellished a little bit on just how tough it is for the clubs.
We are coming from disadvantaged rural areas of Case Kamahook in the Eastern Cape. We don't have any funds to come here, but we made means. We are struggling for survival. Even now we're asking if we might get any sponsorship to assist us to take this club further. We arrived in Cape Town on Friday morning, and then we started playing on Saturday. Saturday we played only one game, and then on Sunday we played 2 games. We won them with big margin, and then today we played semi-final as well as the final, and I made it through. It was not easy. It was not easy. My boys, I think by now, their shoulders, they are so sore. But as you know that, as we met these guys, both of them from Eastern Cape, Boiling Water as well as Walter Sisulu University, we know each other. They normally say that when 2 elephants are fighting, the only thing that is in trouble is the grass. That's what was happening here. As you have seen, I've got defense in the back line and in the front line.
Well done there, guys, and there you have it firsthand, a little bit of a tough time. It is not easy out there in the world of community rugby, especially what it looks like in the Eastern Cape. But of course we know that a lot of our local clubs also struggling like that. So we've got to use, as the coach there was asking for, every possible opportunity to get sponsorship. So once again, I remind the clubs out there, send us your jerseys and get a sponsor on it. Here's a great example. If you just look at here behind me here, this is Belleville's jersey. All right, there's a perfectly available red stripe there that could have gone to a sponsor that can be on TV. And if I look on my other side here, look at Al Israel. All right, so there you see, this is the Violets team, this is the jersey, and look at how much sponsorship and mileage Al Israel gets. All right, so this is Violets doing really well and getting their sponsor's name on the jersey, and this is how you get TV coverage for your sponsor. I hope I'm saying that right, Al Israel. So yeah, there you go. Check out how much TV coverage is on the one side, and look at how no coverage is on the other side. And then we have both jerseys, and I can just put my hands like that and pretend like I know exactly where they are, as if I'm a weather forecaster. And the weather will be sunny on the one side, and on the other side the weather will be cold. All right, I think they did something like that. It was, of course, the Community Cup over the weekend as well. Hemmings was flying the flag for Western Province Rugby. Let's look at some of the results there as things panned out at the Community Cup. Kempston Old Selbornians went down to Refresh Centurion, 42 points to 14. And then Roses United going down to Dispatch, 57 points to 21. And then in the 3rd and 4th place playoffs, Hamilton's pulled one on over Johnson College Rovers. And then, of course, in the finals, it was Rustenburg Impala beating Roodepoort 13 points to 11, so it was a tight game. Morgs, not the result that you guys were looking for.
No, it's not. We went there to go and win the tournament, but unfortunately, yeah, we lost in the semi-final against Roodepoort, which was a tightly contested game. We lost in the final kick of the game. So yeah, look, I mean, it's our first time there, and we're looking to improve on that next year if we do well this league.
So, yeah, I mean, Rupert also into the finals. It came down to the wire. In terms of you guys now taking, I mean, it was 3 or 4 days away from home, and now the league starts for you guys as well.
Yeah, look, we start training again tomorrow night, so things don't stop. And yeah, I mean, look, we're hoping to take the momentum that we have built up. You know, having beaten College Rovers in our third and fourth place playoff, it does give us a little bit of momentum and sends out a good message to the guys in the league that we're coming and we're taking it seriously. So we're looking forward to the start of the league, which starts next Friday against Vix. And so yeah, I mean, look, it's something that you know, you got to do well in the league in order to go play at the Community Cup again next year. So we're seriously considering, you know, doing that and playing well.
Jerome, your feeling on the Community Cup?
JP.
Well, just the tournament and the teams and so on. Yeah?
No, the tournament. I think it's a good tournament. It's good, but I think the support wasn't really. That was bad. Yeah. If you look at the Varsity Cup and you look at Community Cup, where Varsity Cup is always full, it doesn't matter. So Community Cup, I think in terms of marketing, they might do a little bit more to get the crowd out there. And just coming back to the Hamilton's game on Saturday, one thing that I can't understand, Morgan, is that you won all your lineouts and the other guys didn't really contest. But you run around in the lineouts a lot and things like that. And I don't understand. It was one lineout where you're 5 meters from the line, throw a back ball, and lose the ball, throw over, where the other team were basically on their knees trying to sack or do whatever. And that is one thing that I think that you could have won that game easily if you guys just take the ball in the line out and just keep it simple and just the basic things. And I think you guys were up for the game. I think Shane Wallander was playing on the day, was really good, attacking the lines, and you had a few opportunities there. So you were all over the show, but it's just the points. And at the end also that last kick. But I just think that you guys were up there to take the tournament, but unfortunately something went wrong there, which I sat there and I think, can't I go to Anton Moolman and just tell him, listen, just take the line out. The guys are not contesting. You just run around in the line out if the team is contesting.
Yeah. Okay, so Morgs, any comments there?
No, look, I mean, it's, yeah, you look back at the game and you can obviously, there's lots of things that we could have done differently. I think, you know, as backs, we could have done a lot differently. And yeah, like Jerome says, we won all our lineouts and there may have been a little bit of movement. We expected a little bit of a contest, but, you know, hindsight's a perfect science. You know, if we look back now, we could have, there are lots of things we could have changed. So,
Kev, what would you have changed?
Well, I'm not sure. Shame, I feel for the kicker.
For the fly-off?
Yeah, at the end there, missing the kick. I think ultimately a team puts you in a position to win the game. So essentially, Hammies has actually won the game, and unfortunately, it was just bad luck at the end.
There's a couple of fly-offs early on in the year that seem to be burning under the cosh, so to speak, a little bit now. I mean, taking a kick in the dying minutes and, you know, it doesn't work for you, you can kind of live with that. It stings a little bit. But you know, just once again looking at the Varsity Cup, a fly-off that tries to take a drop goal 2 minutes into the end when you're leading. You know, kicks don't always go your way.
Yeah, they don't, but maybe the scrum-off shouldn't have passed him the ball.
Yeah, but it's the scrum-off's job to pass it to the fly-off, Kev. Okay, so please, you're a rugby coach, you know these things. All right, that's what we expect of the scrum-off. Don't blame it on the scrum-off. Okay, really. Okay, folks, that was the Community Cup. Then, Morgs, you guys playing this weekend?
No, so we've now got a bye this weekend. It's the long weekend again, so we got a bye, and then we hit the ground with the top of the table clash against Vix next Friday. So yeah, not an easy game to start with, but we're hoping to take the momentum that we built up from this past weekend.
Yeah, good luck for that. We'll take a look at the fixtures in a second. Remember, DHL Stormers are, of course, sponsored by Evox Advanced Nutrition. Now, if you want to win for yourself an Evox hamper, and this is what the Stormers use, and you would have noticed how they powered over the Lions, 18 points to 3 over the weekend. And if you have any questions on what kind of supplements the Stormers use, Well, it's fairly simple, all right? They use a rapid recovery. That is what they use to recover after every game. Remember, the Stormers currently, I think, have got like 15 players injured. Not easy to coach a team and you've got injured players out there. But the guys that are playing at the moment, playing out of their socks, and I've got to congratulate them for winning against the Lions and showing the fans at Newlands what it's all about. All right, so it's the rapid recovery for afterwards, cytocrank for before, and then, of course, during. Right, before we give you the opportunity to win this Evox hamper, we managed to catch up with some of the Stormers players after the game. Let's see what they have to say.
Yeah, it's a necessary win. It's been a good campaign, positive. Yeah, we keep on smashing on.
Yeah, it's good to get a win again. I think it's just for the fans and all the people that kept on supporting us. Great turnout again today. All the people of Cape Town. I think this one goes out to them, and hopefully we can get a bit of momentum going now. It's a good bunch of guys, and I'd like to sort of get more success with this team and do it for the players as well as for the fans, like I said previously.
Yeah, I think what's good to see is our intent is there, you know what I mean? So that's something we've really been working on, and there's some really good glimmers there, but yeah, next week it's all about getting that 80-minute performance together.
Chesy! This jacket, Chesy.
Doctor jacket?
Ja, baie lekker game. Maar net baie lekker gespeel, ons baie aanvallende rugby gespeel. Dis lekker om dit weer te wen. Ja, dis absoluut onbeskryflik. Die support is amazing. It's heeltemal 'n ander gevoel om hier te speel. Ons is baie dankbaar vir die great supporters.
Oh, of course, good to get a victory. It's been quite a while for us. It's just nice to give the fans something. So yeah, that one was for the fans.
Hard geweest, maar het is lekker om weer wen te kry voor ons skare. En dankie vir hulle weer wat uitgekom het vandag. Ek dink ons het by mekaar getrek. Ek dink na al die verlore mense gedink ons uit mekaar spat, maar ons is gehegte eenheid as 'n span en ons dink ons het dit vanaand gewys.
Lovely crowd, happy faithful come out in full support. Strong points was definitely our attack within our game, and we kept them scoreless.
I'm lost for words. We've been working all week on our attack. Towards the end we did try and be too erratic, but I think our main objective was to attack, and I think we pulled it off tonight, so very happy about that, chaps.
Ja, nee, baie lekker. Yes, bly vir die wen, eerste tweede een van die seisoen, so is lekker by die huis. Ja, net by ons kan die mense gelukkig hou.
Right, folks, there you go. If you want to win for yourself now, the Evox hamper 33280, the before, the during, and the after. Before, during, and after, as the Stormers use. SMS the answer to 33280. Just tell us who is the official sports nutrition supplier to Western Province Rugby and the DHL Stormers. Congratulations to last week's winner, Kevin Fredericks, who won for himself a set of double tickets as well as the Evox hamper. Right, let's take a look at the Super 15 fixtures coming up this weekend. It's the Blues up against the Waratahs in Auckland. The Brumbies take on the Chiefs. The Sharks are up against the Highlanders. The Hurricanes and the Reds, the Force and the Bulls. And of course, playing away, the Stormers take on the Cheetahs in Bloemfontein. Okay, folks, so those are, of course, your fixtures. And it is now time for us to take a look at the Super Brew predictions. But before we do that, let's take a look and see how our top 10 are doing in the Cape Rugby TV Super Brew pool. Riley is at the top of the pool, followed by Stormer Brew, Hertog, Fletter, 10, VTech, Wally Fisher, Vanessa, Rakes, Cully, and Swanee. Those are your Super Brew predictions, or at least your Super Brew rankings. Well done to the guys there. Right, folks, should we do a quick Super Brew pick here? Morgs, we'll start with you. Blues and the Waratahs.
Waratahs 7.
Jerome?
Blues 6.
Right, I'm going to go with the Waratahs by 5. The Brumbies take on the Chiefs. Morgs?
Brumbies 5.
Jerome?
Brumbies 10.
I'm going to go with the Chiefs by 5. The Sharks take on the Highlanders in Durban. Morgs?
Sharks 17.
Jerome?
Sharks 12.
Kev?
Sharks 10.
Sharks and the Highlanders, yeah, I'm going to go with I like that pick. I'm going to go with the Sharks by 10 as well. The Hurricanes take on the Reds in Wellington. Morgs?
Hurricanes 8.
Jerome?
Hurricanes 9.
Kev?
I'm going to go Reds. Close one, 3.
Oh, yeah, that could be a close one. Yeah, it depends on who's playing. It is, of course, home ground advantage for the Wellington. So I'm going to go the Hurricanes by 7. The Force take on the Bulls in Perth. Will the Bulls bounce back? They have a bit of a nightmare at the moment. Morgs?
Bulls 2.
Yes, Jerome.
Bulls 5.
Kev?
I'm also going to go Bulls. 5.
I'm going to go with the Force by 7. And then the Cheetahs take on the Stormers, of course, playing at home for the Cheetahs. Morgs?
Easy one. Cheetahs, 12.
Jerome?
Stormers 8.
Kev?
Stormers 3.
I'm going to go with the Stormers.
Sorry, I meant Stormers 12. Sorry.
Really, you down? Yeah, you know, there, I don't know. You know, you take your finger off the chess piece.
I meant Stormers 12.
Okay, all right. Okay. I'm going to go with the Stormers by 9. Those are your Super Brew predictions. We wish you guys the very best of luck for the Super 15 over the weekend. Check that out. It's going to be great fun. Catch us this weekend. NNK take on UCT. It's home ground advantage for NNK. It's going to be an absolute joy. Come out and check it out. Of course, other derby matches in and around. Remember, tweet those scores. Keep it flowing. Catch our repeat on Saturday at 9 o'clock. That's a wrap from us. Morgs, we'll see you on the weekend.
Yep.
Jerome, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, nice to be back.
Kev, good luck against NNK. We'll see you on the field.
Thanks for having me.
There we go, folks. Cape Rugby TV here on Cape Town TV every Wednesday at 9 o'clock. We bring you the very best of Club Rugby. We'll see you again next week. Same time, same place. Have a fantastic rugby weekend. Bye-bye.